from your breaking news and weather authority. This is News 10 at 11.
Good evening. The chaos that has gripped the nation over the last few nights has come to mid-Michigan. You are looking live at downtown Lansing, where a curfew is in effect until 5 a.m. Monday morning. Police say they will arrest anyone out on the streets until the curfew is lifted. This all started with a peaceful protest this morning. By the time we went on the air at 6 p.m. tonight, things looked to be winding down. That turned out not to be the case. We have team coverage, starting with News 10's Kellen Buddy, live in downtown Lansing right now. Kellen?
Well, yeah, obviously a very tough scene here in downtown Lansing. A lot of damage done to buildings all around the city here. Luckily, nothing caught on fire. Just a couple of dumpsters caught on fire. I'm going to give that light. Our light situation is not good, so I hope you guys can bear with us. This is the George W. Romney building. This window right here was broken into with what looked to be I think it was like a parking meter stand. I'm not sure what it was. It was an elongated weapon. That person, then we saw, he took that weapon and destroyed more windows down this way. You guys can't see it very well, that's okay. Destroyed more windows down this way in the Romney building and then Bogie Tower. A lot of damage here in the city of Lansing tonight. A lot of people are frustrated here to protest the death of George Floyd. I understand their frustration, but there's a lot going on right now. Police are obviously lining this building on this side and that other side. Police forming a perimeter around multiple different intersections, a lot of different streets here in the city of Lansing. Things have died down so far right now, and we're thankful about that. But you never know what could happen in the next few minutes or so. We're going to be live here all evening for you guys here on WILX. Pretty scary stuff. They shot tear gas in here a little bit before Christiana and I were hit, but we're okay.
Yeah, David, right now the police station, Lansing Police Headquarters front doors window was smashed out. That happened earlier this evening, as along with other buildings here on Michigan Avenue. Earlier today, the Lansing Police Department and Ingham County Sheriff's Office reaffirmed their oath against police brutality. Several people have been arrested here tonight after people were throwing things at police. After the riot started, the curfew came into effect. That's when people were starting to be arrested here tonight in Lansing. Again, this is all from the protests that have been going on across the country, started in Minneapolis and now has spread here to Lansing. Again, Lansing police are out here in force, working on trying to keep everyone safe. Their headquarters door has now been smashed, along with a lot of buildings here in downtown Lansing. So yeah, again, if we we'll go on down this way, down Michigan here to Capitol Tower, where there were some glass was broken at Comerica Bank down at the corner. You can see some SWAT team members there. There was a glass broken trying to get an ATM. People were trying to get to an ATM, but that glass didn't go all the way through. But again, several broken buildings here downtown. Reporting live in Lansing, Cody Butler, News 10.
Cody, thank you very much. He's been working all day long as well. We go back out live in a moment, but first we want to show you some of the video from earlier this evening. This is the Chase Bank in downtown Lansing at Washington Square and Allegan Street. Someone smashing out the windows and spray painting the ATM, as Cody said. We don't know if anything was stolen from inside that bank. There was also a car set on fire near MSU FCU on Washington Square. No word if anyone was hurt, but you can see the car flipped over. Then minutes later, it goes up in flames. As Kellen told us a few minutes ago, many windows were smashed out, including at the Romney building and the Bogie Tower, two well-known buildings in downtown Lansing. Now, let's go back out live to downtown Lansing and News 10's Christiana Ford standing by live right now.
Guys, we're looking at a very different scene than what we showed you an hour or so ago, with protesters marching around this circle here. this rotunda around in front of the Michigan Capitol. And then it got a little more rowdy with tons of protesters lining the sides of the sidewalks. And then they moved to the sidewalks, these streets over here where the businesses are. Some of these businesses, I'm going to take you to some of these over here. They were smashed through, some looting was happening. But then there was another side of these protests where others on the sidewalk were still remaining peaceful while all this was happening. They say that this was just some actions from a few bad actors, and this wasn't the majority of what a lot of them were doing. But as you can see, some damage done to some of the businesses down here, Linden Owen Jewelers, just to name one of them. And then there's businesses down here as we go by. MLive over there, their windows were smashed through, a couple of rocks thrown through them. And then we saw a kid down here with a rock in his hand starting a few things. And then we see some people down here on this side of the street. They were protecting their businesses. They say that they know that something could be happening and they want to make sure that everything's okay. But again, for the most part, this was a peaceful protest until a few people decided to act out. We experienced it here for ourselves. We were here at this circle just a few hours ago when I and a few of my colleagues were tear gassed. It wasn't pleasant, but other than that, a pretty peaceful protest until some of the later hours in the night. So as of right now, as you can see, it's pretty clear down here. You don't see anybody out here, just a few stragglers down in the streets, but police have cleared out this whole entire area. You can see police on the right side of the sidewalk right here, just a few of them there. Earlier today, they were lined up across this whole street. They have moved out since. They're now on Ottawa and Capitol Street, just waiting, but they're also having a more relaxed tone and a relaxed posture. We can see some police officers here coming up across the sidewalk, assessing the damage. But they're not taking any actions right now because there's not really anything to take actions on. So that's the scene here for you guys. I'm gonna show you some graffiti and then throw it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Christiana, thank you very much. Not just Lansing tonight. Take a live look now at Chicago, where protests have been going on for days now. The Illinois National Guard has been called up to get the protests there under control.
And then they made their way east on Allegan. That's where they first started throwing tear gas. That's where Christiana and I were hit. And now they're coming this way. People are saying it's tear gas. It is tear gas. You're seeing projectiles being thrown across here. People are starting to run this way, Christiana. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Right now, a window was just broken here. A window was just broken here in this building. Right here. Looks like he's going to go do it again. Just threw a bottle of milk in there. Just threw a bottle of milk in the window. So I don't know if you guys saw that. Just threw his bottle of milk. We're expecting tear gas. People are starting to throw stuff. Windows are now being broken.
No justice, no peace, no racism.
Breaking overnight, what started out peaceful turned violent. We're live in Lansing just hours after protests rocked the capital city.
Plus, across the country, protests continue, and there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. News 10 Today starts right now.
From your breaking news and weather authority, this is News 10 Today.
This morning, we are continuing to follow breaking news as the curfew in Lansing is about to expire in about 30 minutes. It was put in place last night at 9 p.m. following protests that escalated into chaos. Today is Monday, June 1st. Live in Lansing this morning, I'm Mallory Anderson.
And I'm Heidi Tedesco. You are watching News 10 Today on this Monday morning. We have full team coverage this morning on everything that's happened over the last 24 hours and what's ahead. The Lansing curfew was lifted about a half hour ago after protests and riots happened yesterday. Our Spencer Soisha was there last night and joins us now from downtown Lansing with more on that. Hey, Spencer.
Things were calmed down last night at around 10:30 or so, but There's just so much damage still here downtown. Things were peaceful basically all day here as people protested at the Capitol. But later on in the night is when it became a riot, and the peaceful protesters from earlier in the day were gone.
Protests in Jackson are staying peaceful tonight. Dozens of people are gathered near MLK and High Street right now. News 10's Kylie Kahn joins us live with a look at what's going on. Kylie.
The marchers are protesting down on MLK right now. There's well over 100 people. We started at MLK and High Street, and now you can see there are hundreds of people marching towards the downtown area. Now, this is the second protest of the day. There was more than 50 people this afternoon at the Jackson Police Station around 1 o'clock. Then protesters marched to the sheriff's office there. Mayor Derek Dobies joined in, criticizing Sheriff Steve Rand for a comment he allegedly made.
The implicit bias, the systemic racism that exists right here in Jackson. I can't think of a better example than to have a sheriff that jokes about stepping on the back of black people's necks in front of other officers in this very building behind us here.
Now, earlier people were upset that there wasn't more of a police presence at that protest, but here we saw Director Elmer Hitt, and you can hear from him coming up on News 10 at 6. For now, live in Jackson, Kylie Kahn, News 10.
All right, Kylie, thank you. There are other protests planned in Jackson for later in the week, one on Wednesday and one on Saturday. Of these images from the looting and vandalism in downtown Lansing last night, several businesses damaged, broken windows and graffiti. The city of Lansing estimates the damage to public buildings and private businesses is in the thousands of dollars. News 10's Christiana Ford talked with some of those business owners today. She is live in downtown Lansing with that story tonight.
And this all happening in the middle of a global pandemic as small businesses are already feeling the economic strain. Last night, we witnessed the looting and the vandalism by a number of small, bad actors. I mean, I saw milk jugs and rocks being thrown into windows. Business owners I talked to today tell me they don't completely understand why all this happened, but they're still trying to remain positive.
Good evening. Protesters in East Lansing taking their turn today, marching against police brutality, joining a nationwide movement growing larger by the day.
They stood in front of East Lansing City Hall demanding justice for George Floyd and all other victims of violence against black people. News 10's Christiana Ford was there for it, and she joins us live now with that story.
And David, it has truly been a peaceful day of protesting here in East Lansing with virtually no police presence except for them blocking off traffic for the protesters to march up and down the streets of East Lansing.